I don't trust medical authority at all, ever.
Mikhaila Peterson, a prominent health blogger, was cured with a few months of dietary changes.
Yeah.
You can have the rest of your life in relative health.
Yeah, no, for sure.
As opposed to many other people who are just eating crab for the first half of their life until it's way too late.
Hello, everybody. I'm Gary the Vegan Carburetor, and I'm back with another bit of big breaking news. And I think I'm the first one in the vegan community to cover this. In fact, I haven't seen anyone cover this yet. This was just on TV about 3 days ago now, and I happened to see a promo of this while I was watching the RT network. This might just be the first time that the carnivore diet has been mentioned on TV, and I was afraid this would happen eventually, because we've seen everything else. See, Bart and his crew, they know that if they just keep playing this game, they will just keep climbing the ladder. It's like the world has lost all of its marvels. I'm going to show you the highlights of this 26-minute interview. That means they spent a whole half hour on TV with this person, a YouTube blogger. Keep in mind here, she's no different than me. Nobody, except I have many more times experience and years in the field. Okay, here's how it began. Brace yourself.
Hello and welcome to Worlds Apart. Medicine is one area where succumbing to authority is not just tolerated but widely expected. We still treat our doctors as priests, possessing a secret knowledge. But with so many medical dogmas having been proven wrong in recent years, can doctors even be sure that they are indeed doing no harm? Well, to discuss that, I'm now joined by Mikhaila Peterson, a prominent health blogger and daughter of the Canadian psychologist Jordan Peterson. Mikhaila, it's good to talk to you. Thank you very much for coming over.
Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
Now, I don't think there are many people who don't know who Jordan Peterson is, at least among our audience. I have to ask you, how is your dad doing right now?
Dad's doing well, given the circumstances. He had a terrible last month. He nearly died several times. He's better than I've seen him in at least 6 months. So I'm happy to be here anyway. Mm-hmm. We have a number of health struggles in our family. I'm not sure if there's a genetic predisposition towards autoimmune problems, but there seems to be. And we've managed to keep it under control with a very strict diet. In 2017, there was a really terrible autoimmune reaction to food, and he went to our family doctor and was prescribed the clonazepam. Mm-hmm. And then it turns out that, especially to biologically susceptible individuals, mm-hmm. it can be extremely difficult to get off of. Mm-hmm. Became physically dependent, which we weren't aware of until earlier this year when my mom was diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Given your family's extensive history in this realm, what do you think is a responsible stance when it comes to medical advice and your own health?
I think...
How much should you trust and how much should you mistrust?
Well, I don't trust medical authority at all, ever.
Neither do I. But what I'm most irritated by and most want to correct is that she has chosen a diet that's the extreme and the extreme opposite of what I would do. And she's about to discuss that.
The reason for that is I had this horrible autoimmune disorder growing up, and it turns out it was completely alleviated with very drastic dietary measures. And I went to a number of doctors to discuss what happened to me, and I was basically laughed at. Like, diet has nothing to do with autoimmune disorders.
I've heard this kind of crap before from Furious Pete. I doubt that doctors laughed at her, which is the reason she says they basically laughed at me. Basically means they didn't.
And I kind of over the years learned that everything I'd been told and everything I believed in regarding the medical community was wrong and harmful. So
And that is some exaggeration of the truth. You know, like those hucksters on the internet, you've seen them before. Everything you've been told is false. You know, and it's usually these carny people, high-fat promoters, meat promoters. They're taking what us vegans have done and believe, which was reasonable, that you should not go with Western medicine and you should get yourself healthy. And they've taken that and they've just topped us to be more extreme and get more attention and then promote an anti-vegan diet. Okay, here's another segment of this interview. And the irritating part about this is that I agree with most of what they say here.
My suggestion to people who have health issues they can't figure out, if they're going to see a medical professional and they've been going for 10 years and they're still in the same place, they should probably take it upon themselves, start testing things out, testing out diet.
I think it's pretty mind-boggling and also revealing that, you know, the amount of pain and dysfunction that your body had to go through for like 2 decades was cured with a few months of dietary changes. Yeah.
I'd like to pause there for a second. Well, we don't know it was cured. She might not be getting the amount of symptoms she used to, but as I have shown with my coverage of Casey, over like 50 videos I made, he wasn't cured by this meat diet. A lot of them aren't.
Cured with a few months of dietary changes.
Yeah.
But before changes.
Yeah.
But
and Michaela here, she drinks alcohol. I've never drunk alcohol and have no need for it. Maybe these people just need some more fruit. As you know, it turns into alcohol, says all these carnies.
I want to dwell on this particular point of we are what we eat, because Hippocrates came up with that 2,500 years ago, and yet many people still live and eat as if it doesn't apply to them.
I don't know about that. It's just that people don't care until they're in pain. They think they can get away with it. Another thing about you are what you eat, I don't think you want to be dead flesh. You want to be living, vibrant, juicy life.
I know my diet was, especially when I went off to university, it was like horrible. I was surviving off of, instant noodles and things because it was fast. But I had no idea that what I ate would affect me in the way it did.
Here is typical Michaela, oversimplifying things and jumping to conclusions. We don't know if her diet was responsible for the problems she was having or what specifically about her diet.
Mikhaila Peterson has a flair for the dramatic.
These low-carbers are so used to doing this because they have to override all the knowledge that we do have in the scientific method in order to push their low-carb agenda.
I bought into the calories in, calories out, which now I don't, it has some truth to it, but I don't agree with, so I'd say miseducation.
But it doesn't work as straightforward as suggested.
No, it's certainly not as straightforward.
I have agreed with that many times. I've always fought the calories in out myth, and I get attacked for it. But yeah, I'm just saying it's not that simple. On the other hand, looking at Michaela here, I think I weigh less than her. I'm twice her age and don't have this puffiness. Now, some people might say that's normal. Well, most people are puffy. You're just appealing to the norm that you see around you, but that's not normal.
Cured with a few months of dietary changes.
Yeah.
I want to dwell on this particular point of we are what we eat, because...
So here's how she discovered this diet that she's been on. And this is pretty interesting.
I've started publishing a blog and talking to people and testing my diet or suggesting dietary changes to family, friends, people online, and I've seen hundreds and hundreds of people recover, like joint pain or the need to lose, 30 pounds or being fatigued all the time seems to be helped by dietary intervention.
Okay, I'm trying to get through this 26-minute interview, and now we've reached the part here that I agree with even more, and I'm even more irritated. And here I'm going to have some more to say.
You can make an argument that you were lucky to have this very discomforting disease
Yes,
early in
yes.
life so that you can have the rest of your life in relative health.
Yeah, no, for sure.
As opposed to many other people who are
just
eating crab for the first half of their life until it's way too late.
Oh, we didn't even get through all of this here. I've already got a lot to say. First, I'd like to say I watch this show here and there. I watch this network. That's how I found this. And I don't think I have any problem with her, the host. But here, it's kind of like she's suggesting that Michaela's diet is not crap. It's all meat, okay? And let's get one thing straight here, people. Meat is not a health food. It's not vegetables. It's dead animal muscle, which means it's not even food for humans. Humans are not carnivores. We're not even omnivores. Meat is not a part of our natural diet. And this host, jumping to the assumption that Michaela's going to just be healthy from now on because of her dietary change to all meat, I don't think she believes that. And we're about to hear her question the diet right here.
was probably lucky to figure this out and blessed that I've been able to share it with people.
We don't actually know for sure that she has figured it out. She tends to jump and makes logical leaps a lot.
I think we can agree that Mikhaila Peterson has a flair for the dramatic.
If you are a strict carnivore, you don't consume anything beyond pastured meat, salt, and water.
Yeah.
Is that good for everyone?
So the way I would look at this diet is, contrary to what we've been told, meat is absorbed in the small intestine, and for people with, especially with gut disorders, it's actually a very easy way to digest food.
First off, why is she pronouncing it that way? Secondly, I think just about every food is absorbed in the small intestine. Why is she saying this? Maybe I'm just so ignorant that she's referring to some organ I have never heard of before, and something I can only find out if I go to her website. She's making this claim that meat is not hard to digest, it's easy, and she has no formal education. How does she know that that is true?
Plants naturally have a number of natural pesticides, just and people with metabolic disorders potentially and autoimmune disorders can be more reactive to those proteins that are in plants.
Perfect place to pause. She is really generalizing here to a unprofessional degree, harmful degree, confusing people. There are different kinds of plants. There's many different food groups. The main part of the plant have those natural pesticides to keep animals from eating too much of one plant. But she said to keep bugs from eating them, as if bugs will just die if they eat the plants. Or maybe that bugs somehow know or can sense the pesticides. All animal life comes from plants. The entire animal kingdom, original source of fuel, is all plants. It's a symbiotic relationship. Plants were made for animal life to eat. This shows how much she doesn't know about plant foods and just the way the world works. Those things are not what's killing people or making them sick. The longest lived people eat a high plant diet. And another thing, there are things that plants give off for the sole purpose of being eaten, like fruit. Plants create fruit for animals to eat and spread the seeds of the fruit. And of course, the plant is not going to put natural pesticides in there because the plant survives when the animal eats the fruit and lives to plant the seed. And human beings, by great fortune, are fruitarians. This is the diet she could have picked. I've been promoting this idea for 11 years now. People try all sorts of diets. They say they've tried every diet. No, they haven't. They have not tried the fruit-based diet. Just about none of them do that. Sure, most people don't understand or know about that diet, that it's not extreme. But in the last few years, the fruitarian diet is not one of the most extreme diets anymore and can't even get you a lot of views. Now you've got to claim you're a carnivore to get views. Fruitarianism is old news. And the fruitarians are all over the place. And we've lasted. So with all her research on the internet, she must have come across fruitarianism, but just didn't want to do it. Oh, blah, blah. I've heard all the excuses.
So initially, I didn't go straight to all meat. I went to a very low-carb diet where I was eating limited fruit, meat, and vegetables, and that